105.5 KD Country.
Live from Altavista High School. It's time for Colonels football. The Altavista Colonels on 105.5 KD Country, taking on the Chatham Cavaliers. I'm Kyle Haney. He is Oscar Briggs. And Agent Zero, it's time for another rainy Friday night football affair. We had this last week against Nelson County. You and I were trying to decide whether it was more rain last week or more rain right now. It's probably a toss-up right now, but unlike last week, I think it's going to continue tonight.
That certainly looks like it, and that was going to be my opening as well, is that different opponent. Colonel's coming off a 33-0 win at Nelson County, but boy, the weather sure is similar, and that it's been raining for quite some while here. Altavista has a great field. It's crowned correctly. The grass is all over the field. It's highly absorbent, but it's going to turn into a muddy track tonight pretty quick.
It is. You can already tell in between the hashes where both teams have been conducting their warm-ups that starting to get a little bit torn up, and obviously that's going to be the main area of damage in between the hash marks here on the field tonight. It's the Chatham Cavaliers. They enter at 1-4. The Altavista Colonels, the opposite of that. They're 4-1 on the season. They beat Nelson County last week. Oscar and I will discuss that as the Subway pregame show continues. Got a chance to catch up with the head coach, Mike Sharness. He'll talk about the win last week. He'll talk about the Cavaliers a bit, and we'll address the weather some too. It's the Subway pregame show. 2 locations in Altavista. Main Street, where I know they're listening right now. The customer service, fabulous as always. And then you can also stop in the Walmart location on Clarion Road, conveniently located just off Route 29, Mr. Briggs. I'd mentioned that the folks, the out-of-towners, really ought to take make more use of the Walmart location because it's easy on and off Route 29 there. You park on the side at Walmart. You pop in, pop out. Your appetite is sufficiently taken care of, and you're on your way.
Well, and the thing of it is that, you know, you go do your grocery shopping at Walmart, and you can just slide in, get your sandwich, and hit the road. A lot of people do that.
A lot of people do that. Hope we got a lot of folks tuned in tonight. I think we might based on the crowd size right now, but we'll see if this crowd builds or not. It's going to be a rainy Friday night of football. Glad to have you along for the ride. It's the Colonels. It's the Cavaliers. Kickoff between Chatham and Altavista. About 20 minutes away. You're going to hear all the action live on 105.5 KD Country.
At Subway, Monday is no longer Monday. It's Sweet Onion Chicken Teriyaki Day. That's the $3.50 sub of the day. Subway has a different 6-inch sub of the day every day of the week. Each has no artificial flavors or colors from artificial sources. For just $3.50, it's a great sub for a great price. Wednesday, that's Turkey Breast Day. Friday, Tuna Day. The $3.50 sub of the day every day at Subway. At participating restaurants, additional charges for extras and deluxe plus tax may not be combined with other offers, coupons, or discount cards.
A short drive will save you money.
I'm Greg Walker with an exciting new offer from Fellers Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle at Fellers and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Fellers Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short drive will save you money. Fellers Chevrolet in Altavista.
I'm Jeff Walker of First National Bank and the manager at our Main Street branch in Altavista. Did you know that local bankers have a lot more at stake in taking better care of you? You see, helping local customers like you be more successful is our only focus, and each customer is so important. So for your small business, construction, and personal loan needs, think of me and think of us first. That's local First National Bank. We'll help you bring home more bacon. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's cold in here. Will your heating system keep you warm this winter, or will you spend a cold evening shivering under the covers? Have your heating system inspected today. by Tyree Littles Heating and Cooling. Kent Tyree has over 20 years experience and specializes in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Licensed and bonded. Call for an appointment today. 309-2266. 309-2266. Tyree Littles Heating and Cooling.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Subway pregame show returns here from Altavista High School. Colonel's back in town hosting the Chatham Cavaliers. We're talking once again with head coach Mike Sharness. And Coach Sharness, before we get to tonight's game, it was a 33-0 shutout win up in Nelson County last week. Talk to us a little bit about this defense. It's your second shutout of the year. It's a lot of bend but don't break stuff. I mean, I know you'd love to have some 3-and-outs, but I think you're pretty pleased with the way your defense has played overall, particularly in that game against Nelson, correct?
Yeah, we're playing the kind of defense we're playing. I guess you can phrase it bend, don't break. We're not giving up big plays. And, I think the offense and defense kind of correlate to each other because offensively we don't have the firepower to just fire off and get 3 and 4 play drives to score with big plays. Our offense has to be meticulous and drive the ball, not make mistakes, and try to score from that way. And defensively, it's the same thing. We might get a play or two here, and we just don't have as quick a defense as we've had maybe some really dominant defensive teams. But we're playing hard and playing fundamentally sound. So, obviously we want to try to keep that up.
Let's talk a little bit about tackling. It seems like you guys have been tackling well. You and I last week touched on the concussions and those things briefly. How does your tackling change back from, say, when you played or even 10 years ago? Do you teach tackling differently now? Or is it pretty much the same thing you did when you were growing up?
Yeah, it might have been. It's probably a little less, definitely more emphasis to keep your head out of football. That's the slogan that is used, and it's a good one. Don't lead with your head, don't hit with your head, and you want to aim with your eyes and your nose straight at your target and just slide your head to the side upon contact. But it's a little bit different. You have to be careful with how much contact in practice, and we don't contact before. Over a good period of time, we haven't really hit real hard in practice. One reason is because our number of bodies. We don't have a large group of men on the team, so we want to keep them healthy and be ready to go on Friday nights.
Well, one of those guys that was a little banged up was Stephen Farmer, and he played great. He ended up scoring the first touchdown on defense. Talk about Stephen, his senior leadership, and how big it is for him to get healthy for this second half of the season.
Yeah, he was very, very banged up and hurting after that Rustburg game, and took the whole week off during our open week, and came back the next week in the Nelson County week, and we still kind of held him out here a little bit, and each day he got better. Now, we held him out of offense. He might have played the first series, and we held him out of offense. Nelson game played all defensively and played very well. But Stephen's a very tough kid. He's playing great football for us as a senior, great leader, very vocal leader. He is definitely a vocal leader, and hopefully we can keep him healthy and continue his fine play.
Let's transition to tonight, the Chatham Cavaliers in town. It's a team a little bit like Nelson in the fact that they haven't won a ton of ball games. They've also got a new coach. But it seems like every year they seem to give you guys a game, and sometimes it's pretty close towards the end. Is it going to be same situation this year for the Cavs?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always a game. They've got athletes that can throw the ball, catch the ball, run, and same thing defensively. They're maybe not being in the same place every time defensively or offensively might hurt them here and there, but they're always tough for us. So we're very excited to get going with the game, but also knowing this nothing's ever given to us, and we're going to have to play well to beat them.
Rain might be a factor again tonight. How'd you guys think you handled it last week? It rained pretty hard in that first quarter, and then not as bad, although the turf and the footballs were obviously still wet. You like how you handled it? Obviously, it could always get better. You had a few miscues, but overall pleased, and what do you think the factor with the moisture will be tonight?
Yeah, I was real pleased at the Nelson game with wind and rain and how we handled the whole trip. I look into that. I think you can come in real flat I didn't think we did that. We had a great week of practice, concentrating and focusing in on Nelson, not overlooking them, and we with the rain and the wind and the weather conditions, I thought we played very well. Turned it over one time on a fumble. Christian turned the ball over. Otherwise, I felt we played pretty solid. I liked our 2-minute drill at the end of the half, put points on the board right before the half. So I was overall pleased with it. Today, just wait and see. I don't think it can get any worse than what we had in our warm-ups in the first quarter at Nelson. It was pretty wicked there. So we'll take whatever it gives us today.
It really was. Last question for you, Coach. As an offensive play caller, does it change your play calling? Obviously, it has to. In that first quarter, like you said, when it was pounding so hard. But after that, in the second and third quarters, were you a little hesitant to throw the ball, or no? It's pretty much just game on at that point.
Yeah, pretty much we got a lead, and we got a pretty good lead, and we were planning on throwing the ball a little bit more. And I know we threw it 20 times against Rustburg. We weren't looking to throw it that much, but they were giving us some things in the secondary. Definitely in the first quarter and maybe into the first half, it wasn't easy to throw the football with the wind and rain. And then second half, we got up 28-33-0, and at that point, it's just let's get home.
Coach, best of luck here tonight against Chatham. It's the Cavaliers and the Colonels kick off in about 20 minutes on 105.5 KD Country.
Hello, this is Jerry Miley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
Installing atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29 Altavista.
Napa Know-How.
The Napa Know-How 99-cent reusable bag is like any ordinary bag. But if you put stuff your car needs from Napa into an ordinary bag, you won't get 20% off. You can only get 20% off in a Napa reusable bag. Now just 99 cents. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Minimum 3 items. Some restrictions apply. Offer expires 10/31/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista on Main Street in Altavista.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week. Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador, the happiest place in town, thanks you for your business and making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
We return to the press box here at English Stadium in Altavista. And if we haven't mentioned it enough, we'll mention it again, Oscar. It's very wet, raining hard out there. You heard Coach Sharness say in the interview, I don't think it can get worse than the first quarter there of the Nelson game. I don't know. He might want to rethink that. It's really coming down right now.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't think at any point at Nelson last week that it got to the point that it's raining as hard as it is right now. If it had been like this all day, they might have changed their plans. But it is certainly putting it down now at a heavy, heavy rate.
Yeah, both teams are – I think Chatham actually went back to their bus. Altavista went back to the locker room here for a moment. We've still got some time, obviously, in the warm-up period. It's 6:45 by my watch, and the officials are still out there hanging around. I don't think we have to worry about them canceling the game, Oscar, but if it rains like this, it's going to be a different brand of football out there. Just snapping the ball and handing it off is going to be tough in this kind of weather.
And you'll see them in between the hash marks, inside the tackles. You'll see a lot of running. You won't see much passing. You won't see a lot of pitches. It'll be old-fashioned mud football.
Yeah, both teams operate from a shotgun spread primarily. I'm sure, obviously, they can adjust that, but they normally like to operate out of the shotgun. The old QB keeper is going to get called a lot, I think, just to save yourself a handoff or two. There are some fans in the stands. Chatham has, what did we count last time? I think we got 7 or 8 over there right now. Altavista, we're estimating around 35 or 40. And I would assume that some folks are in the parking lot listening to us right now, just waiting maybe for the right moment to come in, the rain to subside a bit, or just waiting for the guys to kick off, because it is the Subway pregame show. They're listening down there at Subway. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. Well, speaking of rain, let's recap last week a little bit there, Mr. Briggs. The Colonels got off to the right start. They got a fumble recovery touchdown from Stephen Farmer, and that was, I don't want to say that was the ball game, but, again, it got them off on the right foot, and they really played well on offense. They executed when they need to. They racked up some first downs. And Nelson just had no answer for the Colonels, really, on offense or defense.
No, and when we went back and looked at the stats from that ball game, the first downs were actually close. There wasn't a ton of difference in the yardage gains. Altavista did outgain them about 100 yards, but I think it was 12 first downs to 10 or something.
Yeah.
And we talked about that throughout the broadcast in the ball game, that Nelson really did a relatively good job of moving the ball, but the Colonels just got stingy when they got inside the 25-yard line and just wouldn't give up any points.
Yeah, you heard me address that question to Coach Mike Sharness. He said, I don't know if you'd call it bend but don't break, but I guess you could call it that. It's just, we're willing to surrender 3 and 4 yards at a time, and eventually we're going to get in the other team's backfield here or there and cause a loss, or as many high school teams and even some teams at other levels do, they'll shoot themselves in the foot and have a penalty of some kind, a holding, a motion, illegal procedure, all that stuff that makes it tough to run your offense. And that's really what happened the other night with Nelson County. And you're right, the Governors did move the ball well at times. Colonel's defense just tightened up when they had to. Wonder if it will be more of the same tonight. Oscar and I are going to step aside for a moment. We'll admire the warmth and comfort and dryness of the press box here, as I'm sure you're doing the same if you're listening to us. If you're out there in the elements listening to us, well, good luck to you. Hope you're enjoying yourself out there, too. It's the Subway pregame show. It's the Altavista Colonels. It's the Chatham Cavaliers. Kickoff in about 15 minutes on 105.5 KD Country.
Tonight's game is brought to you by these members of the KD Country Sports Club.
El Cerrito in Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only El Cerrito can serve up.
The Medicine Shop in Altavista on Main Street, a full-service pharmacy, now offering flu shots.
One Stop Mart, Main Street, Altavista, where the gas is cheap, the beverages are cold, and the chicken is kicking.
The Dairy Freeze, Main Street, Altavista, with delicious hot dogs, burgers, fries, and, of course, ice cream. At Dairy Freeze, they're doing it right.
Radio Shack and Crystal Bay Pools, Altavista, serving your area since 1989 for swimming pool installation, chemicals, liners, and more.
The KD Country Sports Club, proud supporters of Colonel football.
PCM Industrial of Altavista offers mobile welding and repair services, fully equipped service trucks and certified craftsmen, and quick response to satisfy your needs. Contact PCM Industrial at powerconstruction.com. PCM Industrial is a fully insured Class A licensed contractor, OSHA and MSHA compliant. PCM Industrial Services of Altavista wishes Coach Sharness and the Altavista Colonels football team good luck in another winning season.
Get on the winning team and come find one of a kind. Shoppers, did you know Altavista has several unique antique stores? Check out the great selection at Mad Biddy's, 105 Wood Lane Road, or stop by Vintage on Broad to see where the American pickers have been. Try the Main Street Trading Company, offering unique home accents, jewelry, and more. An invitation from the Altavista Office of Economic Development. More information online at altavistaontrack.net.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
You're home for award-winning high school sports coverage. It's the Subway pregame show on 105.5 KD Country. The Altavista Colonels set to take on the Chatham Cavaliers.
We talked about it earlier, Kyle. Chatham comes in at 1-4. Altavista, last week had a pretty long winning streak against Nelson County. Equally as impressive tonight, the Colonels have dominated the Cavaliers for the last 8 years.
Running back, number 6, Shaheed Pinnell.
Yeah, the Altavista football team, obviously you know about the success they've had. You have to go back to 2007 to find the last time that Chatham did beat Altavista. Cavaliers come into this one at 1-4. They beat Buckingham in week 1, 28-24. That was a nice win for head coach Matt Allen in his first season at Chatham. He actually came from Buckingham. He wasn't the head coach at Buckingham. He was an assistant. He's on his first head coaching stop, and had to be nice to get a win in week 1 and then do it against your old team. Makes it even a little bit better.
Well, and you know, they followed that up against they played James River, and they were in that ball game, ended up losing 34-19. Tunstall manhandled them pretty well, 39-12, and then the game against Gretna they were in late too. That game ended up a high-scoring affair, 48-35 for Gretna. And then last week they ran into a buzzsaw against Dan River.
Yeah, Dan River beat Chatham 50-0, and Dan River's been doing that a lot to people. I believe they beat Nelson by the same score as well. Chatham travels to Nelson next week. Altavista traveling to Appomattox. And just to bring it all full circle, Appomattox and Dan River playing each other tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that game. We'll keep an eye on all the other ball games. We think we'll have a pretty good one here. You mentioned some scores there and some results. I mean, it looks like the Cavaliers can put up some points. They've had some trouble stopping people. They're giving up 39 points a game. Now, maybe that Dan River game skews the numbers and the statistics just a little bit, but I don't think defense is a strong suit for the Cavaliers right now. But, hey, what a time to turn it around on a rainy pitch like this. It seems like a defensive-minded kind of a night. If there's any time you would think that, well, hey, our defense could turn in a season world-class type of performance, this might be the night, Mr. Briggs.
And although the Colonels have dominated Chatham since 2007, keeping them without a win, it's not like those games have been blowouts either. Even back during the state championship years, some of those Chatham teams gave Altavista all they wanted. 14-0, I remember one of the games. One of the other games was won late on a Thornhill touchdown pass. So they're competitive. We know that they hit hard. They play hard-nosed football, and you can expect the same tonight.
I think you're absolutely right. It's a Subway pregame show. We know they're listening down there on Main Street. Let's send out a few shout-outs here while we got a moment, Oscar, because there's got to be a lot of folks tuned in. Our old buddy Danny Barber, I'm sure, listening on Broad Street. We'll say hello to Danny. Big shout-out to our big KD Country super fans, folks like Bud Moses, Benny Nash, Dandy Dan Kaufman. I saw Mike Kinlaw this week. He might have been going to the beach. Those plans might have changed, though. I hope they did change.
They were going.
Okay, they're still going to go. We'll send a shout-out to Earl Hackworth, the Sugar Daddy. He likes to tune in over there at Sugar Daddy's Jewelry Pawn. Hector and George, the Highview Motors gang, they're tuned in, and I'm sure we'll come up with a few more people as well, and we can send out a few more shout-outs as we go. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the support of folks like Autumn Care of Altavista, specializing in 24-hour skilled nursing care, physical, speech, and occupational therapy. D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call Donnie at 841-1580. That's 841-1580. Highview Motors GMC, from small to tall, Highview has it all. Finch & Finch Funeral and Cremation Service, a family serving families since 1905. The Altavista Office of Economic Development, we invite you to come find one of a kind. PCM Industrial Services, now with mobile welding and repair service. The Moose Family Center in Altavista. Visit the Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road to join and be a Moose. English Construction, wishing our high school athletes an exciting and injury-free game. El Cazador, Altavista's original Mexican restaurant. Got to check out those daily lunch specials, Oscar. But you do.
Absolutely.
Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels. Napa Auto Parts, find your Napa know-how on Main Street in Altavista. English's, your complete home center, now offering a complete line of Carhartt clothing for men, and they have women's items too. First National Bank, helping you bring home more bacon. Fellers Chevrolet, now offering a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. And Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling, keeping you cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and comfortable in between. The captains are out at midfield as we speak doing the coin toss. And it does seem like the rain has let up a little bit, Oscar.
Very little bit. You look over to the far side, and you can still see it coming down decently. Altavista did win the toss and deferred, so they will receive the ball. They will kick, excuse me. Altavista will be moving from our right to our left, which is towards Bedford Avenue, for those of the unfamiliar.
National anthem time here at English Stadium. We'll step aside and take a break. We'll be back with football when we return. It's the Colonels and the Cavaliers on 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
English Construction Company has been in the building business since 1909, so it's only natural that they appreciate the building process. They recognize the fact that organized sports programs build character as well as bodies and minds. They know that high school sports build our youth into more well-rounded and more productive adults. English Construction Company is proud to be a sponsor of high school sports and salute all athletes, coaches, and teachers. A word of praise and encouragement from English Construction Company with offices in Lynchburg.
GMC. Come on in. Bring the family. See your friends at Highview Motors. Highview Motors. GMC. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors. GMC.
Compassionate Care Choices, Autumn Care, 24-hour skilled nursing, inpatient, outpatient, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. Autumn Care invites you to tour their facility in 2016, receiving the bronze quality by the American Healthcare Association. 5-star rating by Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services. Autumn Care, a member of Sabre Healthcare Group, serving Altavista and surrounding areas since 1989.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Continues to fall here at English Stadium. Altavista High School is the site. I'm Kyle Haney. He is Oscar Briggs, Agent Zero. OB, any final thoughts before we get underway? It doesn't necessarily have to be about the rain. It could be about either of the two ball clubs. It just seems like the rain is dominating all of our thoughts right now.
Well, and with that, certainly ball control has to come into play, and not only ball control, but control of the ball, meaning keep your hands on it and no turnovers. Those two things will play key factors in a nice ball game.
Yeah, I don't even know if you can expect to play turnover-free in this kind of weather. You might just have to win the turnover battle. Let's fumble it less than the other guy kind of a thing. And obviously football coaches want to be perfect, but I think they're all realists too. They know these kind of conditions, it's hard to hang on to the football.
Special teams will be affected. Your plant foot if you're a kicker, and receiving the ball is difficult on punts. So probably the best strategy is just get on a punt, just to get away from it.
I think you're right. I really do. I mean, unless you just know you've got all kinds of daylight and green space to work with, I think you might be absolutely right. We'll see how it does affect the kicking game. I will say probably not as windy as last week against Nelson County. Nelson County seemed like we had more wind. However, we haven't even kicked off yet. That remains to be seen how the weather is going to change, and it might stop raining at some point. We'll just have to see. Colonels are wearing the home orange jerseys, black pants to go along with the black helmets. Chatham in a white-on-white with a black helmet look, got a red face mask. And the Cavaliers, again, coached by first-year head coach Matt Allen. Colonels, if you didn't know, coached by Mike Sharness. 3 state championships of his tenure here at Altavista, 1 at Rustburg, and really one of the all-time great high school coaches in our area. Colonels have the kickoff team set and ready to go. Thanks for joining us on a Friday night. Hope you're staying warm and dry wherever you are. If you're in the car, listening on 105.5. If you're at home listening at kdcountry.com, maybe on your smartphone with the TuneIn app. Boley's going to kick this first kick short, fielded on the 22-yard line, far sideline. Return man got a few yards, got it across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
good coverage by the Colonels. They stayed in their lanes, and he only picked up about 7 after getting his hands on the ball. So nice job by the Colonels special team.
Might be tough to identify some of the numbers in this rain, but we'll do the best that we can. And particularly when it gets muddy and sloppy out there, that'll make it even tougher. It's a shotgun spread formation for the Cavaliers. 2 men on each side. There's a flag coming out as the ball is handed off. Sort of an inside running play there. It looked like Stephen Farmer made the takedown on Parker Martin. Parker Martin, the ball carrier there, and this play is going to come back. It would have been about a 3-yard gain, OB.
Line judge really blew illegal procedure before the ball was even snapped. So somebody moved on that offensive line.
They put a man in motion. The motion man was number 8, Camden Lewis. He came from that slot receiver position. They sort of faked the wide receiver sweep. Again, the field was in pretty good shape coming into the ball game. Colonels hadn't really played on it when it had been wet, so it's okay right now. We'll see how it holds up as we go. They put another receiver in motion, handoff play again. It looks like they're giving it to Martin again. He tried off the right tackle, slipped, fell down. Christian Gilbert aided him on his descent there, and we'll give him credit for the tackle. It's a 2-yard gain on first down.
He might have picked up another yard. Like you said, Gilbert was there, but that's going to be a common theme tonight as well with the footing on the field.
2nd and 13, we'll call it. 11:20 left to play here in the Englishes, your complete home center first quarter. You know, Carhartt makes plenty of apparel that'll keep you dry in this kind of stuff, Oscar.
Dry and warm.
They open at 8 a.m. tomorrow. That's Englishes, your complete home center and your authorized home for Carhartt gear. Here comes the shotgun spread again. 3 receivers to the left. Quarterback flips it out there that way. Peyton Aston is the quarterback. It's complete on the far sideline. Receiver still churning out yards. He's across the 35 now to the 37. Short of the first down marker. It looks like possibly another flag coming out. No, the Colonels have the football. The football got popped out. The Altavista Colonels have it. I think Pinnell might have come out of there with it. I'm not positive, Oscar. It was sort of an interesting play.
It was like a wide receiver screen. The player that was in the slot dropped back, even with the quarterback. He threw it to him. Matt Aiken had sniffed that play out and was right there, but the player eluded him. There was kind of a scrum over at the end of the play, and lo and behold, the Colonels end up with the football.
We got to try and figure out who came out of there with the football. Interesting turn of events, and one that was hard to see in the rainy conditions on the far sideline. Here's 1st and 10 for the Colonels. Handoff play. This is Montague. Got the legs cut out from under him around the 34-yard line. Falls forward to the 32. That'll make it 2nd and 5 with 10:35 left to play. Still no score. First time the Colonels touch the football comes after a Chatham fumble on their opening drive that really could end up burning the Cavaliers. They let Altavista take over with outstanding field position. This drive started on the Colonels' 38-yard line. Comes a shotgun snap again. They give it to Montague again. Not much of a hole there, but he plows forward for 1 or 2 yards behind his offensive line.
And this type of weather is made for Jonathan Montague, or Jonathan Montague is made for this type of weather. He keeps his feet under him, runs downhill, wraps the ball up with both hands. Power runner.
Straight ahead type of runner, does have excellent ball security. Maybe a one-cut guy here or there. He's got some moves when he gets into the open space, but generally he does reserve them for later on in the play. Nice hard count there by Mateo Malback. He's going to draw Chatham offside. Change the snap count there. It'll be 5 free yards for the Colonels. They get a first down there on 3rd down. Excellent stuff there from the Colonels to pick up the first down without actually running a play. 1st and 10 now from the 25-yard line. Handoff play again. This is Montague bulldozing his way through the hole. Behind the pulling lineman, he went to the left and got stopped around the 21-yard line. Just in between the hash marks and the numbers. And he'll come out for a little breather. It's Shaheem Pinnell entering the backfield. 9:20 left to play in the first. Still no score between Chatham and Altavista.
On the plays that they've run so far, Altavista's offensive line's done a good job moving that line and knocking the Chatham players back and letting the running backs get 3-4 yards downfield.
Josh McClure's in there as a blocking back. They're going to run behind him, but Malback couldn't get the initial snap. He grabs it off one bounce. He's going to take off and run. He's got some room to run over there. A flag comes out as he turned the corner on the far sideline. Have a feeling this could be a hold or a block in the back against the Colonels. It was a busted play, so some of those linemen and receivers may have been a tad bit out of position. It is a hold on the Colonels. It happens with 8:56 left to play in the first period. Still no score. This is going to negate what ended up being a first down run for Malback on the busted play.
They are marking the hold spot. Hard to see where they marked it. He picked up the flag, but it will bring up a second and about 15.
All things considered, not too bad there. I mean, really, Malback might consider himself lucky just to get that football back. It hit his hands. Clearly the ball is wet. He went down and scooped it up off of one bounce and just took it on the move. He's got two receivers to the left, one to the right, blocking back in there with the running back. Malback going to throw, swings it out to Jonte Gord. Gord catches at the 34-yard line, turns it up. He's across the 30. No blocking out there, and he's brought down there about 5 yards inside the near sideline for a decent pickup. Not much, actually, now that they set the stick. Only about a 1 or 2 yard gain. Looked deceiving. I thought he might have had a little more than that. This brings up 3rd and 14.
Well, and the thing is here, at the 30-yard line of Chatham Cavaliers, you're in two-down territory. You're outside Nick Boley field goal range, and if you punt it and he goes in the end zone, you're going to only pick up 10 yards. So Colonels can pick up 6 or 7 yards here and get into a 4th and 6 or 7. It'll be manageable.
Still 0-0. Toss play going out to the right. This is Pinnell. He turns it up. Now he gets back outside. A great tackle by number 6, Aaron Martin, to bring down Pinnell. Solo tackle. Shaheem surely would have had about 5 or 6 more yards at least, but Martin caught him after only a 3-yard gain. It'll bring up 4th and 11 for the Colonels. And, Oscar, you nailed it. Not even thinking about putting a foot on this ball. They're going for it here on 4th and 11 from the Chatham 26-yard line. Need to get this ball down to the 15. It's from the far hash mark. Colonel's working right to left from Oscar and I's perspective. Passing play, Malback flushed out of the pocket.
Open.
He does have a man wide open down the sideline. That's Jonte Gord. Touchdown, Malback to Gord. The 26-yard passing strike. Who said the rain was going to slow down the passing offense of the Colonels? There's a touchdown right there for Altavista to open up after the turnover from Chatham. Colonels got it with great field position and made it pay off there on a 4th down conversion.
Nice play. The flow of the play went to the right as if it were a running play, and blown coverage from Chatham, and Dante Gord was wide open. There was nobody within 15 yards of him. Kudos to Mateo. His eyes didn't get too big. Threw a nice pass, and Gord held on to the ball. Nice play, Colonels.
Right on target. Nice play all the way around, and Boley is right on target as well. Colonels lead 7-0. 7:02 left to play, and the English is your complete home center. First quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and they're priced right with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista, the next time you get ready to make a change. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels open up how they want to in the rain here at English Stadium. They get a fumble recovery and then a short scoring drive capped off by the 26-yard pass from Malback to Gord.
37-yard drive, and we talked about it last comments before the game started, was who's going to win the war of turnovers. Chatham turned it over. Altavista capitalized.
Boley's going to kick it short again. They're going to the same place, fielding on about the 24-yard line at the far sideline. Boley has been really good about those directional kicks, Oscar, and Colonel's coverage team swarms around the 33-yard line. That's where the Cavaliers will start. Pretty much the identical field position they had to start the last drive. This one will begin with just under 7 to play in the first quarter.
Nick has really started to do that. He did a lot in Nelson last weekend, and very good with that directional kick. I think he only had one that went out of bounds last weekend.
It's a nice weapon a coach can utilize if he sees somebody on the other team that maybe doesn't have the surest hands. You can say, hey, let's get it in number so-and-so's hands. Here's a running play again on first down for the Cavaliers. They've got some room on the far sideline, strung out there. Colonels have the ball carrier on the sideline, now pushed out of bounds. It was Parker Martin again on the carry. He scampers out of that backfield quickly. It's hard to see what number he is sometimes.
Colonels actually blitzed. Jonathan Montague, middle linebacker, came on that and Chatham did a nice job of getting the ball outside the tackle, and gain of about 8.
Yeah, solid pickup there on first down. Aaron Martin is a receiver. Parker Martin is the back behind the quarterback, Peyton Aston. Aston awaiting the shotgun snap. He's got 2 receivers each side. He'll hand it off again to Martin. Colonels nearly got him in the backfield. Now they do have him in the backfield. The Colonels D swarmed and threw him back. Martin dodged one tackler, but then all of a sudden saw 2 more right in his windshield. There was nowhere to go. Good stop for Altavista.
Somebody from Altavista shot that gap, and he dodged him. But you're right. There were 2 more players there. A loss of a yard brings up 3rd and 3 for the Chatham Cavaliers.
See what the Cavaliers dial up. They have tried the short passing play. Got 2 receivers split out to each side again. Those slot receivers are actually in kind of tight. They're only about 5 yards off the tackles. Passing play, straight drop back, flag comes out, pass is incomplete, and the play is going to go for naught anyway. It was a legal procedure before they got started. It's going against the Cavaliers. I think it was one of those slot receivers that moved early.
It was. That's absolutely great calls. Camden Lewis was in the slot, and he anticipated the snap and had about half a step. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough that it was visible, and nice job by the official making that call.
Those slot receivers are lined up. They're not exactly wing backs, because they're off the tackles just a little bit, but they're not split out normally like a traditional spread would have you way out in space, at least not yet anyway. Sure, they can adjust. We'll call it 3rd and 9 now for the Cavaliers, far hash mark. They need to get to their own 44-yard line. Passing play again, straight drop back. Quarterback sets up in the pocket. It was batted away by Shaheem Pinnell, but he could not pull it in for the interception. As it stands, it's just an incomplete pass and probably brings up a punting situation.
Well, Shaheem made a great break on that ball. Receiver looked like he was open. Shaheem made a great break on the ball and got his hands on it. He's disappointed that he didn't intercept it. And Chatham's going for it.
Hold on to your hat. Cavaliers are going for it here on 4th and 9. Same formation, 2 receivers each side. No, they'll kick it away. A bit of a quick kick, and it might have caught Altavista by surprise. It's a nice punt as well. It takes a good Chatham roll. It'll get down inside the Colonel's 30-yard line at the 26. Peyton Aston on the punt there. It was a normal shotgun formation. It was sort of reminiscent of what Nelson County tried last week, except the Cavaliers were actually able to pull it off successfully.
It was a nice job selling that it was going to be a play. Froze the Colonels, but we saw last week against Nelson, even in the punt situation, they didn't always have a player all the way back anyway.
Right. Well, and you made the excellent point in the Subway pregame show that night like tonight, you might be better off just letting a punt roll dead and just let your offense operate from there. 2 wideouts, 1 tight end, blocking back, and a running back. They'll hand it off to Jonathan Montague. Got 2 hands wrapped up over the ball. He's hit. He slides forward. It's like one of those old slip and slide commercials from the 80s. It's a 2-yard pickup for the Colonels on first down.
And I'm going to beg to differ with you. You said Jonathan Montague was hit. Jonathan Montague hit the defender.
He was the hitter and not the hittee?
Absolutely.
That's excellent stuff there. We've played 6.5 minutes in this first quarter. Colonels lead 7-0. So glad you're tuned in to 105.5 KD Country. Handoff play again. This time it's Montague charging up behind the right guard. He falls forward for a few more yards this time. Called a 3-yard pickup down near the far hash mark, and it'll set up 3rd and 4, maybe 3rd and along 3 for the Colonels, with 5 minutes left to play in the first quarter.
And as if Colonel fans have listened to us before, you know that this is a running back by committee team. Christian Gilbert in now for Jonathan Montague.
See if Mateo Malback changes the snap count again, as he often does in these 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 situations. Colonels already have 1 pickup via that defensive offside. He did it again. A Chatham lineman fell into the Altavista backfield. I think this is going to be on the Cavaliers. It is. They're stepping off the yardage now, and it's another 3rd down pickup. Again, due to that, just changing the snap count. Going on 2 huts instead of 1.
And, you know, we see teams every week, and I don't know if we see anybody any better at it than Mateo. Juan Thornhill was good at it, but, boy, Mateo, he must have been some understudy work with Juan, because he's very, very good at it.
He's excellent. He uses the voice, picking up the yardage there. Here comes the handoff play. This is Gilbert. Got hit in the backfield. Tried to spin his way towards the line of scrimmage. Going nowhere. That's a big defensive stop from Preston Turner. Number 9, Preston Turner, really had Gilbert wrapped up and would not let him go.
Well, he picked him up and drove him back and put him on the ground. Nice tackle by Preston Turner. solo tackle.
Colonel's shuffling in some personnel. Actually, they're just going to move Jacob Adams over here to this near hash mark. Colonel's operating from the far hash mark. Wide side of the field is the left. They're going right to left from our perspective up here at the press box. 3:47 left to play in the first. Altavista on top 7-0. Low snap on a 2nd and 11 play. Malbach's got plenty of time to throw. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. He takes off up the middle. He's across the 40, now across the 50. Still on his feet at the other 45. Hit hard at the end of the play. Nice tackle by, I believe, Aaron Martin to finally bring Malbach down, but he signals vigorously with the arm saying we got the first down, and it was a very nice pickup there on 2nd and 11.
And nice job by Mateo keeping his feet under him. He didn't go full speed. He was going about 80%. When he made a cut, it was a slow cut, but he had a nice job picking his holes and executing downfield.
What you have to with footing like this. It's 1st and 10 now for Altavista. Malbach steps into the first down play. He's going to run it himself. He's going off left tackle, now stringing it out to the left sideline. First tackler missed. Second tackler slowed him, and now Malbach finally brought down inside the 40. Call it a 4-yard gain on first down for Mateo Malbach.
And Coach Sharness not happy. One of the Chatham players came in after Malbach was down and led with his helmet. And the official just got an earful from Coach Sharness.
It's actually more like a 6-yard pickup for Mateo when they finally unpile and spot the football. Aaron Close in there as a blocking back now on 2nd and 4. Malbach ready to operate the offense again. He hands it off to Gilbert. Gilbert's got some room on the right side. Got in behind the pulling guard. He's trying to fight his way towards the first down marker. He's close. We'll see if they give it to him or not. 2:25 left to play in the first quarter. Referee's going to stop the clock and see if he did get enough. He did. It's another Altavista first down. Their 4th of the ball game. They lead 7-0 on a pretty good-looking drive here again. Second time touching the football, OB.
Started on their own 25, and they're now at about the 30-32 of Chatham. As you said, nice little drive here going by the Colonels.
Operating very efficiently. Had a few miscues. Football hit the turf once or twice, but other than that, not bad. This is a toss play going out to the right side. Montague slung down around the 25-yard line by a couple Chatham tacklers. Flag in the backfield, and this is probably coming back. As soon as I said Altavista was operating efficiently, the penalty flag comes out. It is a hold on one of the Colonel's linemen.
Well, that's been one of the big things that Coach Sharness has been coaching against is the number of penalties. That's the second hold that the Colonels have had here in the first quarter. 2 minutes remaining, 2:04 in the first quarter. Colonels leading 7-0. And you got to hope that that's not a drive killer because where that hold was in the backfield, and that's going to set up first and about 23.
Yep. Colonels have been better on the penalty front as of late. Just 3 last week. They did it add up to 60 yards, though, but just 3 penalties on Altavista last week. 0 3 weeks ago against Rustburg. Of course, there was a bye week in there. First and very long. Malbach doesn't have a lot of blocking. He's thrown down at the 45-yard line. It's really no gain on another play that might have been busted. I think it was supposed to be a handoff, and Mateo, due to the wet ball or maybe an errant snap, just could not get the ball to the running back.
No, he immediately started to go to the left. It looked like the flow was actually over to the right.
Colonels operate with under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. They have a 7-0 lead. It was a Malbach passing touchdown to John Tate Gord that got things started after a Chatham fumble. Mateo's got his heels on the 50-yard line, catches his snap, wants a quick throw out to the right. It's complete. Caught by Jacob Adams. Adams turns it back inside. Now he's going outside. He's still on his feet. He's across the 30. A spin move at the 25, and he's still free. He's running across the 20-yard line, looking for space, and now I think he's gassed and brought down at the 16-yard line. But how about the moves from Jacob Adams there? Multiple spin moves. He misdirected the defense multiple times. He went inside, then outside, then back inside. At one point, he was just running horizontally across the field in what was a very exciting play.
Boy, that was a 30-yard pickup they need on a second and 23, and he ran 75 yards on that play if he ran one.
Wow. In the stat sheet, he just gets the 35 yards, though. Nice pass by Malback to get it to him. Handoff play here on first down. Montague's breaking free up the middle. He's in the end zone for 6. Jonathan Montague with a 12-yard rushing touchdown. And the Colonels extend the lead on a drive that started back on their own 26-yard line. A 74-yard march down the field that featured a little bit of everything, Mr. Briggs, and a nice way to cap it off. Montague in the end zone again.
Always a good play, a good drive. If you can get the ball in the hands of your playmakers. Malback made a great run on that play, and then that pass on that drive, and then the pass to Jacob Adams, who is a playmaker as well. Extra point was blocked.
Extra point did not get in there. Cavaliers got their hands on it. It's a 13-0 Colonel advantage. Chatham football on the way when you come back with 26 seconds left in the quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
Introducing D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling, a name you've grown to trust. Donnie Bryant is back with D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. As an American Standard dealer, D.L. Bryant Heating has the tools and the talent to handle all of your heating and cooling issues, large or small. Call 841-1580. That's 841-1580 for D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call 841-1580 for a name you can trust. Donnie Bryant and D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels march down 74 yards and get 6 more points, this time from Jonathan Montague, his 3rd touchdown of the season. Altavista on top, 13-0, Agent Zero. It's a nice start for Altavista. It's exactly what you wanted if you're a Colonel fan.
Well, Coach Sean has talked about coming out early and jumping on Nelson County early, and that's exactly what they've done with the Chatham Cavaliers tonight.
13-0 advantage. The rain has pretty much stopped, although the field's still very wet. This is a rolling kick that'll get picked up by Martin. Martin lowers the right shoulder just into the oncoming, and the Colonels have it again. The Colonels have another fumble. Altavista racing this one towards the end zone. It's going to be a Colonel touchdown. It's number 1, Jacob Adams. Oh, Mateo Malback, pardon me. Mateo Malback, number 3. On the fumble recovery on the kickoff for another Colonel touchdown. Give him credit for a 27-yard fumble recovery return on the touchdown. 3rd game this season the Colonels have scored on special teams. 2nd time they've scored a touchdown on the kickoff. You remember in that Prince Edward game, Traquan Farmer picked up a fumble and scored it. Mateo Malback with the fumble recovery. He's thrown a touchdown pass. Now he's run one in on a fumble recovery. Bowley's extra point is good. Colonels lead 20-0. We've still got 12 seconds left to play in the first quarter on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
I'm Greg Walker with an exciting new offer from Feller Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle of Fellers and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Feller Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short drive will save you money. Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
Well, just like that, it's all Altavista. They score a rushing touchdown with Montague. Then on the ensuing kickoff, Chatham fumble results in another Colonel touchdown. Mateo Malback scooping it up and running it into the house.
There are 2 Pennsylvania County school buses that Chatham came in on over in near the end zone, and the Cavaliers got to be looking for the 3rd bus, that the one that ran them over. It's 20-0 here with 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
You know, Chatham really looked pretty good at times, but all of a sudden, you look up at the scoreboard, and that tells a different tale. This ball scooped up on the run by the Cavaliers. This is number 8, Camden Lewis. Lewis had to turn around and get it. Then he ran horizontally across the field to the middle of the field and really maybe lost about a yard, but he did hold on to the football, and that's key for the Cavaliers right now. They'll start this drive from their own their own 17-yard line.
Just like that.
We're used to seeing Altavista do that to teams, and the good teams will do that to you, where all of a sudden you think you're in the ball game, and then in a blink of an eye, you're not in the ball game anymore.
Well, 2 turnovers, and it's led to 14 points for the Colonels.
Colonels, we talked about the efficiency on offense, and we know they can score on defense and special teams, but there we see it firsthand with Mateo Malback. Misdirection play to give it to the receiver. That's Aaron Martin. He's hugged down around the 16-yard line. Nice solo tackle by Traquan Farmer. Farmer did not fall for the misdirection and brought down Martin nicely for a gain of maybe a kidney stone, which unfortunately, Agent Zero, you know all too well about, but he's enjoying the broadcast. He's enjoying the way the Colonels are playing right now. Got another shout-out to come later. Passing play here on 3rd and real long. Aston's got some time, though, over the top, and it is picked off. Jacob Adams on the bobble. He didn't have it initially, but he stayed with it. It was sort of a juggling act for a moment, and he comes down with it at the 26-yard line. The Colonels with excellent field position again. Athletic play from Adams there to take away what was really a nice pass.
Jake was about a step behind the defender, and he was really sitting on the defender. He knew the ball was coming. He waited to break until the ball was thrown and made a great break on the ball, put himself in great position. I thought he was going to drop it, but he bobbled it, gathered it in, and picked up a couple extra yards. Colonels are in business, first down at the 25-yard line of the Chatham Cavaliers.
That's Jacob Adams' second interception on the season. Colonels 10th as a team. That's pretty good in Game 6 here. Adams is in there at quarterback again. He goes with the hard count and gets Chatham to jump offside as well. Everybody can change the snap count here for the Cavaliers. Next shout-out's a pretty good one, too. Let's say hello to our dear friend from WSCT, Valerie Bragg. Bob Alvis says he's the only reason he participates in the Football Friday. He says Valerie is the best, and he always puts, or she always puts a smile on Bob's face. She was up here for a moment trying to get dry, and I don't think that was possible tonight, but it was nice of her to stop by the press box. Adams wanted to throw, then he pump faked it. Now he's going to run. He takes it across. He's across the 15. Hurdles a man at the 5-yard line, and he hot steps it in the end zone. Adams' second rushing touchdown of the night. It started out as a passing play. Adams nearly released the ball, but somehow he held on to it and then ran it in for another rushing touchdown. Colonels continue the dominance. They lead 33-0. Extra point from Nick Boley on the way.
And again, that just showcased the athleticism of Jake Adams. I mean, great pump fake, nice coverage in the secondary by Chatham. Mateo Malbeck was trying to get open. Jake made the decision to tuck the ball and run and hurdled a player. Nice 20-yard touchdown from Jake Adams. Extra point is good. Colonels lead 34-0 with 8:11 remaining here in the second quarter.
Chatham football when you return to 105.5 KD Country.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted Atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29 Altavista.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Jacob Adams with his second rushing touchdown of the evening, this time from 20 yards out, this time on a short field that he produced with the interception and subsequent short return there. Man, we're seeing the best of Jacob Adams right now. We're seeing the best of the Altavista Colonels right now.
They are hitting on all cylinders, with the exception of the 2 holding penalties. Clearly the cleanest first half that we've seen so far.
Nick Boley on to kickoff again. Let's see where he deposits this one. This one's a ground ball. It'll get fielded at the 29-yard line. Ball carrier turns it up and got hit hard. Let's see who was in on the stop that time. That was Christian Gilbert laying the hard lick, and Traquan Farmer was in the area as well. I believe it was Parker Martin on the return.
Boy, and you mentioned a shout-out to Coach Mabry. Coach, I feel your pain. I had one a couple of weeks ago. A little small 8-millimeter one that had to be surgically removed. So I feel your pain, buddy.
Dave Mabry, a big music fan. He and I always spend time discussing the tunes and other things as well. This is actually Chatham's best field position of the night. They'll snap this ball from the near hash mark, their own 34-yard line. Here's a delay handoff. It's well designed, but the ball carrier, Parker Martin, just slipped as he tried to make a cut. You cannot make those same moves that you can make on a dry field. As a running back, you just got to go straight ahead, not much side to side in weather like this.
No, and Matt Aiken shot that gap and stuck his arm out, and that helped the ball carrier make that cut.
How good was Matt Aiken last week? Played some seriously good football. Here's a handoff again. This is Martin, and Matt Aiken has him again. He did pick up 2 or 3 yards, got it back to the original line of scrimmage. Chain gang fell asleep on the job. They've got a 4 up on the stick over there on the far sideline. It is not 4th down. It'll be 3rd and 10 probably. Clock turning with 7:25 left to play in the second quarter.
Not sure who's on the chain gang. Used to be Jerry Barnard, Mike Kinlaw, and that crew.
They would have never let that happen. That
I don't know.
Can't be them. Hopefully they're not listening. If you are, guys, you had the stick wrong. They knew. Somebody told them. It does read right. It says 3rd and 10 now. Near hash mark. Chatham needs to get to the 44-yard line. Roll-out passing play here. Aston's not going to go anywhere. Johnny Montague just latches onto the backside of him and just really rides him into the turf at the 20-yard line. Big loss there for Chatham. Big-time football play from Johnny Montague.
The Colonels are just flexing their muscles. They are on defense. They are faster. They are stronger. They are just dominating Chatham tonight.
Right now it is a domination by the Altavista Colonels.
I don't have stats, but Joe Andrews will provide them to us, but they got to be way negative yardage.
It's not good right now for Chatham. They've only picked up 1 first down in the game. They are going to go from a more traditional punt formation now. They were missing somebody on the line. Now it looks like they're set. Long snap does get back successfully. The ball is booted away. It's a pretty good punt. It'll land at the 45-yard line. Takes a sideways bounce. Down there, Colonels will start on their half of the field in plus territory at the 48-yard line. Pardon me. It's on the Chatham side of the field. 48-yard line here for Altavista. And we've got 5:52 left to play here in the Englishes, your complete home center, second quarter. Let me mention that Carhartt gear again, Oscar. Bow season's in now for the hunting. I don't know how much of a hunter you are, but you know what it's like. Even though it's going to be raining tomorrow morning, you can't miss a day. You don't want to miss a day, so you got to slap on that Carhartt gear. You stay protected out there from both the cold temperatures and from the rain. 3 wide receivers to the wide side of the field. That's the left. Jake Adams still in there at quarterback. Shotgun formation. He'll hand off on first down. Running play. That's Christian Gilbert. He's free across the 40. Now the 35. Inside the 30. Dragged down there around the 25-yard line. Referees are falling down out there in the wet conditions trying to stay on their feet. Of course, they don't have cleats on. That's a first down pickup for Christian Gilbert and the Altavista Colonels.
Umpire winding the clock is laughing at his other co-official out there as he slid down.
Well, if you can't laugh about it, you're probably taking yourself too seriously,
That's
right?
Absolutely.
Adams going to stay in there at quarterback. Again, the junior does have some experience. He was the starting quarterback for the bulk of the season last year. 1st and 10 for Altavista. He moves McClure in the backfield. Here comes a toss play out to the left. This is Christian Gilbert again trying to break free outside, and he does. He's inside the 15, inside the 10. Touchdown. He nearly lost the football going in, but he was able to regather. Flags come out now as there's some pushing and shoving on the far sideline. All of a sudden it turns into a pretty big scrum over there. No punches thrown or anything, and the referees will clear everybody apart. Gilbert, meanwhile, was a full 40 yards away from the activity that happened after the play. He didn't care. He's just happy to get in for 6. It's a 27-yard rushing touchdown from Christian Gilbert. Oscar, every offensive drive has ended in a touchdown for the Colonels, and they've even scored once on the kickoff when Chatham fumbled the ball.
Well, when you mentioned Josh McClure was in motion, he's the one that threw the big block that sprung Gilbert. And you didn't hear us last week. Gilbert wasn't in the game last week. Excuse me, Gilbert was. Jake Adams wasn't. Josh McClure wasn't available. Neither one of those players were available last week.
It's nice to have a lot of Colonels back at full strength if you're an Altavista fan. If you're a Chatham fan, it's not very nice. Colonels lead 40-0. They're going to assess some penalties now. These are probably going to be offsetting after the play personal foul type of penalties.
Unsportsmanlike.
Colonel's coaching staff getting everybody squared away. Altavista is actually going to take a timeout. Let's take it with them. They lead 40-0. The extra point is on the way with 4:41 left to play in the half when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Napa know-how. Napa has Castrol GTX conventional, high mileage, and Edge full synthetic motor oil on sale starting at $3.49 a quart. So if your engine sounds like this, or even this, we have a Castrol for it starting at $3.49 a quart. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
General states pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state, local taxes, or recycling fees. Offer expires 11/13/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista. on Main Street in Altavista.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Christian Gilbert races in a 27-yard rushing touchdown for Altavista. That was a 48-yard scoring drive. It's their 6th touchdown of the night. And we had some pushing and shoving as Gilbert was going into the end zone and then after the whistle. And I think that timeout from Coach Sharness, Oscar, was just to tell his guys, hey, we're not going to do any of that stuff. Avoid all those penalties. Avoid any of the chatter. Just win the football game on the field. Let's get inside and get dry. Don't you think that's all that timeout was?
That's absolutely what it was.
Extra point snap rolled back to the kicking block, but Mormon was able to scoop it up and put it down there for Nick Boley. The kick is good. Altavista leads 41-0. Still 4:41 left to play in the half. Chatham football when we return to 105.5 KD Country.
Good food, low prices, and great service keep customers coming back for more day after day at El Cazador Mexican Restaurant in Altavista. El Cazador is now open all afternoon, so you can come by anytime, any day. El Cazador Mexican Restaurant, a great place to unwind and relax with friends. Open 7 days a week. Main Street, Altavista. El Cazador, the happiest place in town, thanks you for your business and making them the #1 Mexican restaurant in town.
Your home for Colonel Sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
53 years of award-winning high school sports coverage. He's Oscar Briggs. I almost said you're Kyle Haney. I think I did that once last week, actually.
You did.
You're Oscar Briggs. I'm Kyle Haney, at least for tonight anyway, at least for now. And the Colonels are on top big time. They're on top 41-0. 4:41 left to play in the second quarter.
And for the second consecutive kickoff, the Colonels are kicking off from the Chatham 45 due to the unsportsmanlike call. Last time ended up pinning the Chatham Cavaliers deep back in their own territory at the 10-yard line.
Here comes the kickoff from Boley. This one a line drive again, and it'll land 6 yards deep in the end zone. That'll be a touchback. Cavaliers will start their drive on the 20-yard line. This is the 5th time Altavista, this is the 5th time that Chatham will get the football. First drive ended in a fumble. Second drive in a punt. They turned it over on downs, another punt, and then this here. Let's see if the Cavaliers can move the football a bit in the late stages of the English's, your complete home center, second quarter.
One of the games that we talked about pregame, the Subway pregame show, was the Appomattox at Dan River game. That appears to be everything it was built up to be. It's 6-6 right now in the second quarter.
Send a shout out here to a Chatham guy, very good Chatham Cavalier baseball player, Colby Puryear, listening down there. He didn't want to get wet tonight, so he's tuned into the ball game, and he was very complimentary of me, Oscar, but not so much of you. Flag comes out there. I think it's a face mask at the end of the play. Parker Martin was going to the turf, and it looked like his head whipped around just a little bit. Interestingly enough, the referee, when he threw the flag, kind of hit Parker Martin in the face with it.
It did, and you know, we all think back to that pro player. I believe it was the Brown kid, actually out from Cleveland. I
think that's
originally
right.
From Lynchburg, that got his eye put out.
Caught a hold on Chatham. Interesting.
Oh,
interesting
my
there,
goodness.
particularly the way it came out. It came out at the end of the play, and it looked like Martin's head sort of went sideways for a moment.
It looked clear that the Altavista player had him up under the back of the side of the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Chatham cannot catch a break.
And Martin looked back at the official trying to figure out what's going on. The rest of the Cavaliers are set and ready to go here. It makes it 1st and 20. Aston will turn around and hand the football off. Ball carrier's going nowhere. Matt Aiken in on the stop. Still fighting, though. That was Camden Lewis that really stayed on his feet. An admirable effort. He kept driving. His forward progress was stopped around the 5-yard line.
Well, the previous play, the confusing thing about it was that when Aston got up, he immediately said something to the official. The official threw the flag as if he were calling it right there on that face mask.
Totally agree. 2nd and now 25. Well, no, more like 20. Pardon me, Oscar. Actually giving forward progress up around the 10-yard line. Shotgun spread formation from the near hash mark. This is a toss play, going to turn into a trickeration play. Lewis wants to throw. It gets lobbed up. Colonels are there in coverage. Malback was nearly able to bring it down with a right hand. It was number 4, Parker Martin, looking for a flag, a pass interference. I'm sure Malbach wondering the same thing. Why was it an offensive pass interference? And a little bit of extracurriculars again after the play. The official steps in on the scene there. There's 5 Colonels huddled around the official, possibly getting some sort of an explanation. I doubt they're talking politics. 3:14 left to play in the second quarter. It's a 41-0 Altavista lead. 3rd and 20 coming up for the Cavaliers.
Well, they're pulling out all stops, trying to get something going offensively, but the Colonels have just pinned their ears back. Dropped back 5-6 players in coverage this time.
Here's Aston on a quarterback draw. He slipped as he was trying to make a turn up the middle. It wasn't a badly designed play, just hard for him to find any room. And then when he didn't have the ability to cut because of the wet turf, the play was virtually stopped before it could get started. Brings up 4th and 20.
2:39. Clock continues to run here, remaining in the second quarter. Colonels up 41-0.
Colonels defense already has 2 shutouts on the season, Oscar. Lead 41-0 now. Here comes the shotgun snap. This punt is blocked. The ball is loose, and the Colonels will pick it up in the end zone. It's Traquan Farmer on the touchdown.
How appropriate is that?
Oh, my. Farmer picks up the blocked punt in the end zone, and the Colonels have virtually scored in every way you can. They scored on a Chatham, or they scored on a kickoff when they were kicking.
and repair services, fully equipped service trucks and certified craftsmen, and quick response to satisfy your needs. Contact PCM Industrial at powerconstruction.com. PCM Industrial is a fully insured Class A licensed contractor, OSHA and MSHA compliant. PCM Industrial Services of Altavista wishes Coach Sharnes and the Altavista Colonels football team good luck in another winning season.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels continuing to roll here on a wet Friday night. They're on top 48-0. We've still got 2:17 left to play in the Englishes, your complete home center. Second quarter, Oscar. Subway halftime show. We'll get some scores. We'll look around the area a little bit. We'll have some fun, as we always do, and try and recap all the scoring in this one. Unfortunately for the Cavaliers, it's been pretty one-sided. It's been all Altavista.
You got 5 Colonels that have scored. So that's just incredible.
Adams has scored twice. He's the only one. This kick rolling around. It'll get picked up on around the 8-yard line. Chatham returns going to start up the near sideline. Not a whole lot there. It looks like they're going to start inside their own 20.
Malbach scored twice.
Malbach has scored twice, by the way. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. Malbach threw a touchdown pass to Jonte Gord. Jonte Gord's first touchdown of the season, by the way. John Montague has a rushing touchdown. Malbach has a fumble recovery and then subsequent return for a touchdown. Adams has 2 rushing TDs to go along with an interception that he has. Christian Gilbert has a rushing touchdown, and Traquan Farmer has picked up a fumble for a touchdown.
And I'm not certain. It looked like Tevin Pearman might have been the one that blocked that. There were 2 or 3 Colonels there, but I think it was Pearman that got his hand on it. We'll have to confirm that.
I think you're right. I think Pearman and Farmer were the first ones in there, but you're right. They actually had some help coming, too. We'll find out. We still have a Colonel's fumble recovery that we're not sure exactly who got it either. Running play here on first down. The ball carrier is going nowhere. Thrown backwards again. The Colonel's defense continues to swarm. It's Traquan Farmer again.
They're going to mark that at the 10-yard line. That's a loss of 7. Chatham has no answer for what the Colonels are doing. They're sending just about everybody.
I don't know what you do up front if you're Chatham. Maybe you tighten the splits up. Maybe you get foot to foot there with the offensive linemen. I don't know. It's tough right now. It's tough. And, you know, if you coach football long enough, if you watch football long enough, you'll see this on both sides. But right now, it's all Altavista. 2nd and 17. It's a 48-0 Altavista advantage. Chatham football, and they lost the ball again. The ball is free. The Colonels have it again. Traquan Farmer fell in. I think he fumbled, and they're actually going to give credit to Stephen Farmer. Traquan Farmer fumbled it as he was going across the goal line. Stephen Farmer picked it up. Who knows who's going to get officially credit for the touchdown, but it had to be last name Farmer, and it came off another fumble recovery. This time the Colonels did a little bit to force it, but it was mainly Peyton Aston, the quarterback for Chatham, just could not hold on to the football. Wet conditions certainly playing a part in this. I'm going to give it to Stephen Farmer because the official didn't signal really until Stephen picked it up. Called a 1-yard fumble recovery return.
I think Traquan was there. I mean, I think he might have scored, but at any rate, I think you're right. The official didn't acknowledge it until Stephen picked the ball up. So
55-0. You heard that right. 55-0. Altavista on top. We still have 1 minute and 6 seconds left to play in the first half. Chatham football again when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Get on the winning team and come find one of a kind. If you're looking for a new dining experience, try Piece of Pie on Broad Street. Come check out the great selection of local craft beers and enjoy a delicious barbecue meal at Two Sisters Tap Room, or sample a bottle of traditional mead from Vassir Mead Works, one of 12 meaderies in the state. An invitation from the Altavista Office of Economic Development. More information online at altavistaontrack.net.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
Altavista continuing to dominate the proceedings here on Friday night at English Stadium. They lead 55-0. We're not even to halftime yet. Subway halftime show will be around in 1 minute and 6 seconds. And you got to feel for the Cavaliers a little bit right now, OB. Here's a kick fielded on the line drive at the 20-yard line. So it looks like Joseph Davis that turned it up and got some room to run there in the middle. And he stopped at the 27-yard line. Decent field position here for Chatham. Nothing going the Cavaliers' way right now. They've picked up 1 first down in this first half. Just one.
Davis continues. He walked about 10 yards backwards. He was in a conversation with Shaheem Pennell.
Well, as I mentioned before, I don't think they were talking about politics.
Could be.
Could be. Hotly contested this year. Everybody's got an opinion for sure. This is a sports show. We won't get into that, though. 1st and 10 for Chatham, just inside the far hash mark. They'll just take a knee. Cavaliers are going to take a knee and hope to get it to halftime. I don't think you're going to see Altavista stop the clock here. Coach Sharness wants his defense to stay on the field just in case Chatham decides to come back. Now the Cavaliers start walking away, and we will reach halftime. All Altavista all the time in this one. They're on top 55-0. Subway halftime show on the way when you come back to 105.5 KD Country.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Life is full of opportunities to show someone we love them. One such opportunity is the funeral or memorial service. Finch and Finch helps you celebrate the relationships they shared and honors the memory of your loved one.
Finch and Finch Funeral and Cremation Service. A family serving families since 1905.
Back to the press box for high school sports on 105.5 KD Country.
This Subway halftime show has arrived. 2 great locations to eat fresh in Altavista, Main Street, and then also inside the Walmart on Clarion Road. Oscar, 350 subs of the day are here at Subway. The sub of the day today is the tuna melt. I love the tuna at Subway. Subway halftime show just getting underway. It's a 55-0 advantage for the Altavista Colonels. Chatham Cavaliers with no answers right now. We'll return and get the Subway halftime show started in earnest here right after this on 105.5 KD Country.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Virginia are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Brought to you by English Construction Company, with offices in Lynchburg.
Trucks, come see us and you'll agree. From small to tall, we've got it all. Highview Motors, GMC. Come on in. Bring the family, see your friends at Highview Motors.
At Subway, Monday is no longer Monday. It's Sweet Onion Chicken Teriyaki Day. That's the $3.50 sub of the day. Subway has a different 6-cent sub of the day every day of the week. Each has no artificial flavors or colors from artificial sources. For just $3.50, it's a great sub for a great price. Wednesday, that's Turkey Breast Day. Friday, Tuna Day. The $3.50 sub of the day every day at Subway. At participating restaurants, additional charges for extras and deluxe plus tax may not be combined with other offers, coupons, or discount cards.
Compassionate Care Choices, Autumn Care, 24-hour skilled nursing, inpatient, outpatient, physical, occupational, and speech therapies. Autumn Care invites you to tour their facility in 2016, receiving the bronze quality by the American Healthcare Association. 5-star rating by Centers for Medicare, Medicaid Services. Autumn Care, a member of Sabre Healthcare Group, serving Altavista and surrounding areas since 1989.
Your high school sports station with award-winning coverage on 105.5 KD Country.
Colonels lead 55-0. You're hearing it all live on 105.5 WKDE Altavista Lynchburg. Thanks so much for tuning in there. Maybe you're listening at kdcountry.com or perhaps on your smartphone with the TuneIn app. Oscar, we have so many folks listening tonight. The weather has actually improved a little bit, if you can believe that. If you're riding around and you want to see some football and you're in the area, you won't get too wet, but you won't stay dry either. I can still see the raindrops falling a little bit. Let's do our best to recap that first half. Again, it was all Altavista all the time, really. Mateo Malback got things started with a 26-yard passing touchdown to Jonte Gord. That came off of a Chatham fumble. Jonathan Montague raced a 12-yard touchdown, pardon me, not 2, 12. And, at that point it was 14-0. Cavaliers looked like they were still in it. Then all of a sudden.
Well, the ensuing kickoff, the ball was stripped away by Mateo Malback, who scampered in for a 32-yard, we'll call it a fumble recovery. It looked like it possibly could have been a strip. But regardless, that was 20-0 in the first quarter. The onslaught continued. Jake Adams started getting some snaps at quarterback. He had a 9-yard run. Right after that, he had a 20-yard run for a touchdown. Patrick Gilbert got to the end zone, 27-yard run, making it 41-0. That was followed up with the Traquan Farmer blocked punt, 48-0, and then another special team fumble recovery by Stephen Farmer in the end zone. That cat rounded out the 55 points that the Colonels have here at the half.
Yeah, it was an interesting half in a lot of regards. Chatham opened up. They had great spirit. They had great fight. But all of a sudden, when they found themselves down 21-0, that's pretty much all she wrote there. And the Colonels just kept throwing gas on the fire. They found more and more ways to score. They got an interception in there, multiple fumble recoveries. We knew ball security was going to be important. And Altavista has firmly dominated that category, the turnover battle.
Well, and it really, you got to credit the special teams, too, because the Colonels have pinned Chatham deep inside 15-yard line on several occasions. And with their backs to the wall, Chatham has not executed on offense. Altavista's sending just about everybody, and just Chatham has no time to do anything.
We've talked a lot about the Colonels' defense this year has been bend but don't break. They'll give you some yards here or there. They'll let you pick up some first downs, and then they'll stop. Not they'll let you, but that's sort of the defensive game plan, is a bend but don't break game plan. Tonight, not really. Tonight it's sort of jailbreak, getting the other team's backfield, and then if you can, rip that football out and go score with it too. It's sort of a different defensive MO tonight.
Well, certainly when you get up 20-0, you can start taking chances and try to strip that ball instead of making the textbook fundamental tackle. So, it really just has snowballed on Chatham.
It has. You got to feel a little bit for the Cavaliers in this one. If you're a Colonels fan, probably flying high right now. Altavista on top, 55-0. Oscar and I will bring you some scores when we return to the Subway halftime show. You're hearing it all live on 105.5 KD Country.
Tonight's game is brought to you by these members of the KD Country Sports Club.
El Cerrito in Altavista. Throw on a sombrero, shake your maracas. It's El Cerrito time. Authentic Mexican cuisine only El Cerrito can serve up.
The Medicine Shop in Altavista on Main Street, a full-service pharmacy, now offering flu shots.
One Stop Mart, Main Street, Altavista, where the gas is cheap, the beverages are cold, and the chicken is kicking.
The Dairy Freeze, Main Street, Altavista, with delicious hot dogs, burgers, fries, and of course ice cream. At Dairy Freeze, they're doing it right.
Radio Shack and Crystal Bay Pools, Altavista, serving your area since 1989 for swimming pool installation, chemicals, liners, and more.
The Katy Country Sports Club, proud supporters of Colonel football. Altavista High School football is brought to you by Steve Farmer Auto Sales. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, where there's always a good selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs, and they're priced right with financing available. See Steve Farmer Auto Sales, 1112 Main Street, Altavista, the next time you get ready to make a change. Steve Farmer Auto Sales, best deals on wheels.
Introducing D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. A name you've grown to trust, Donnie Bryant is back with D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. As an American Standard dealer, D.L. Bryant Heating has the tools and the talent to handle all of your heating and cooling issues, large or small. Call 841-1580. That's 841-1580 for D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling. Call 841-1580 for a name you can trust, Donnie Bryant and D.L. Bryant Heating and Cooling.
Now back to the action with Colonel Sports on 105.5 KD Country.
Getting back here at Altavista, before we talk about some scores, let's talk about a couple of things the Altavista Band has going on. The first is the citrus sale. That'll be going on through the end of October. Get out and support them. You get some great fruit at a great price, and it really helps the band. That's one of their major fundraisers. They're also doing something a little different. They're selling some handmade, hand-painted Christmas ornaments this year. It's got the A logo that Altavista uses. They're really sharp looking. I think they're selling for $14 a piece or something. Really, really nice. See somebody in the band boosters. I know Andy and Cheryl Hicks are big, helping work on that stuff. So, again, citrus sale and the Christmas ornaments, great things to help the band.
I love that fresh fruit. You can't neglect that in the winter, too. A lot of people just, they want to eat fruit in the summertime, that sort of thing. But you can't neglect that fresh fruit and that vitamin C in the wintertime. And we're closing in on it. We're not quite there yet. It's not really too chilly outside. Of course, the rain certainly making it feel a little bit colder. But just echoing Oscar's sentiments there, get out there and support the Altavista Band Boosters if you have a chance. And you'll be glad you did. A couple scores from around the area. There's some pretty good ball games going on. Brookville leading Amherst 21-12. Heritage is all over Franklin County 40-7. Appomattox and Dan River 9-6 at halftime. Appomattox on top there. We'll keep close attention to that one, particularly since Altavista does travel to Appo to face the defending 2A state champions next week. That's next week. You'll hear the action live, of course, on 105.5 KD Country. We love going to Appomattox, and they always take good care of us, probably better care than we deserve. Jefferson Forest leading Rustburg 13-6. That game's around halftime, and EC Glass up 13-6 against Liberty. Most of those games are at or around halftime anyway.
Boy, the one that jumps out to me is the Jefferson Forest leading Rustburg 13-6. That just surprises me.
Yeah, I can see how that might surprise you a little bit. We've seen the Red Devils in action. They're a great ball club for sure. Our sound engineer, Katie, tonight doing a fabulous job. We'll send her a shout-out, but we'll also send a shout-out to Eleanor, who is listening to the game, and she wants some confirmation on this Band Booster fruit sale. What all kinds of fruit do they have, Oscar? I know they got oranges. I know they got grapefruit. That's what I thought, yeah.
I think there's some, I don't know. I'll get
some
more
like
details.
A mixed, I know they do like a mixed box where you get 2 or 3 different things. Maybe some apples and some pears in there as well. Eleanor, it's a good question, though, and it deserves a good answer, so we're going to find out, and hopefully we'll have that for you here by the end of the ball game, maybe even by the end of the Subway halftime show, because that's how quickly Oscar Briggs operates. They don't call him Agent Zero for nothing, folks. Colonel's operating with maximum efficiency tonight. They lead 55-0. We'll step aside for another timeout as the rain picks up a little bit here at English Stadium. This is the Subway halftime show on 105.5 KD Country.
A short drive will save you money.
I'm Greg Walker with an exciting new offer from Feller Chevrolet. Purchase any new or used vehicle of Fellers and receive a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty and a 3-day, 100% money-back guarantee. Again, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty and a 3-day money-back guarantee. At Feller Chevrolet, we stand behind what we sell, and we save you money. Come see us. You'll be glad you did.
A short travel save you money. Feller Chevrolet in Altavista.
This is 100% convenient mobile banking with local First National Bank.
With our FirstNet mobile app, you can securely check balances, make deposits, pay bills, transfer money, and much more.
It's easy to use, and we even have a video demo on our website at firstnetbk.com.
And it's free, so search FirstNet mobile app and download it for free today.
Remember, banking from anywhere, anytime will help you bring home more bacon.
First National Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
It's cold in here. Will your heating system keep you warm this winter, or will you spend a cold evening shivering under the covers? Have your heating system inspected today by Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling. Kent Tyree has over 20 years experience and specializes in heating, air, plumbing, and electrical. Licensed and bonded. Call for an appointment today. 309-2266. 309-2266. Tyree Little's Heating and Cooling.
Hello, this is Jerry Motley from 1433 Altavista Moose Center. It's asking everybody to come on down and join us and see what the Moose is all about to help us support our Moose Heart, Moose Haven family. Anybody's welcome to come down and take a tour of our building and see what's going on. Come on down and we'll let you in and we can have some fun. We're looking forward.
Meet Jerry and the rest of the Altavista Moose family and become a member. The Altavista Moose Family Center on Lynch Mill Road.
Your home for Colonel sports coverage. 105.5 KD Country.
The Subway halftime show returns here from the press box at English Stadium. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. I got it right that time. And Big O, we got some confirmation on what exactly the fruit selection is from the Altavista Band.
Boy, that was quick, wasn't it?
I said they call you Agent Zero for a reason.
Boy, oranges, grapefruit, mixed fruit, tangelos, and mandarin oranges. Almost, I don't know how many they made, but they're almost sold out of the ornaments.
Nice.
But they're going to be getting some more made, but they are very, very sharp. I'll try to get one to Katie or Eleanor and see if we can get it on the page.
Yeah, we can post a picture on social media. Speaking of social media, let's send out another shout-out. We talked about, of course, the lovely and talented Valerie Bragg from SET 13. We talked about the opposite of that, Bob Alvis, of course, working hard for WSET 13. Let's send out a shout-out to Dave Walls and Dennis Carter because I know they tune in when they're popping from place to place to try and get scores. You know, they go to multiple games in one night to get footage for the show, and they'll pop in there, and they say they tune in to us. Dave Walls gave us a very nice compliment on Twitter a few weeks ago, said he was listening to the post-game show. So we'll say hello to those guys. They do a great job, and it's going to be an interesting show tonight, I'm sure, with all the rain around there. How do you keep the lenses on the camera dry, guys? Can you?
I don't know. I've seen bags over them before, and certainly Dave Walls has really transitioned well into the Justin Feldkamp gap that was left at SET.
Hard man to replace, though, Justin Feldkamp. Big fan of that guy, and we had him on. Was that the William Campbell game, I think? He came on. They were doing
that's what it was. It was William Campbell.
Excellent stuff. Colonels are back out in the end zone warming up. Chatham's doing a little bit of warm-ups on their sideline. Looks like we're almost ready to go. Well, so we'll call this the conclusion of the Subway halftime show. If you joined us late, it's a 55-0 Altavista lead. They've got scores from, we'll run them down for you here, and this obviously is going to take just a second. Mateo Malback has thrown a passing touchdown to Jonte Gore. Jonathan Montague has a rushing touchdown. Mateo Malback has a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Jacob Adams has 2 rushing touchdowns to go along with an interception. Christian Gilbert has a rushing touchdown. Traquan Farmer has a blocked punt recovery for a touchdown. And Stephen Farmer has a fumble recovery for a touchdown that he kind of comboed with Traquan Farmer there. And maybe now's as good a time as any to remind folks again that they are not brothers. Same last name, but they're not brothers. No relation between Traquan and Stephen. But they play like brothers on the field, don't they?
They do, and that's back-to-back touchdown games for Stephen Farmer after getting his first touchdown of his career last week.
2 in a row for Stephen Farmer, and that's obviously 2 games in a row that the Colonels have scored on defense too, and they've scored on special teams a couple times tonight. It's been the complete package for Altavista. Nick Boley has not made all the extra points, but he's really done an admirable job considering the conditions out here. I guess maybe the only thing left would be something like a kickoff or a punt return for a touchdown, or perhaps get Nick Boley a field goal try. And it'll be interesting to see. Let's get your take on it now, Oscar. I mean, how do you think the Colonels handle this second half? I mean, they're not going to take 3 knees and punt it back to Chatham, even though they're up 55-0.
No.
But maybe the foot comes off the gas a little bit.
No, I mean, I think you're right, but I think certainly the Colonels do get the ball first here in the second half, and I think that you keep your foot on the pedal, certainly for the first drive. Let the players come out of halftime, get this thing under their belt, go ahead and get an extra score if you can. There will be a running clock in the second half. Anytime there's in the VHSL there's a lead of 35 points or more, the clock does not stop for first downs and things of that nature.
Right.
But again, I think if you're out to this, Coach Shaughness, you want your first team in for the first drive, see if you can punch the ball in, and from that point, you got to start resting your players, making sure nobody gets hurt, making sure nobody gets ejected. The concussion protocol is pretty stringent now. It's very easy to have players miss games, get injured, and have to go through that process. You got to protect those kids and get some experience for some of the players that don't get to play every week.
Yeah, we brushed up on that concussion protocol both before the game and then also with Coach Shaughness a little bit last week. It is something, obviously, that has become more detailed, more awareness as far as those injuries are concerned, and that's a good thing. But, yeah, the process now does take a long time. If you get a concussion, a lot of times it was the old, we'll hold him out in practice and he'll be good to go next week. Not anymore, particularly if it's something severe. It can cost you months even at a time. I mean, look at guys in the NFL, look at guys in the NHL. I mean, all these sports, you see guys missing more and more times because of concussions.
We were talking to Christian Hackworth earlier, and who's a freshman who got a concussion in Nelson County, and he was talking about the process that he had to go through. He was back at the doctor today and kind of got cleared to go through some non-contact practice next week for 4 days, and if there are any symptoms at all, then he won't be released. So.
Yeah, said he's got to go through 4 days of non-contact practice, no symptoms, no headaches, no dizziness, any of that stuff. But if you have any of those symptoms, then it can set you back another 2 or 3 weeks right there. But, again, it's a good thing. The awareness and obviously more caution is good. You got another shout-out? You look like you had a shout-out. You perked up.
I did.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
we talk about concussion protocol. One of the things that we haven't mentioned yet tonight, and we may have some time in our second half to talk a little bit more about it, but on the opening kickoff, UVA against UConn, Juan Thornhill got a concussion. Now, he had to sit out the rest of that ball game, but the Duke game was the first game back, and, boy, he came back with a vengeance. We haven't talked about that.
We haven't mentioned Juan. Juan's in the building tonight, actually. Well, he's not in the press box, but he's outside. If he was in the press box, we would have had him on.
Yeah.
He's outside braving the elements. I think Rodney got in touch with us on the KD Country Facebook page and said Juan's in town. He's at the game. And you're right. What an incredible performance. Two interceptions against Duke. I mean, just
ACC Defensive Back of the Week.
Great stuff. Here's a trickeration kickoff. It goes out of bounds. Kind of hard to describe. The Cavaliers had one kicker act like he was going to run up and kick the ball straight down the field, and then another man came from the side and booted it, but could not keep it in bounds. It was an interesting design. I've seen it once before. It's not the worst idea when you're trailing 55-0. Start the half. I mean, let it all hang out, right? Might as well throw caution to the wind. Clock does roll to start the second half. Colonels will start on the 47-yard line. They're going to start on their own 47-yard line. Took them a second to spot that football. It's where it went out of bounds. They don't have to go back to the 35-yard line like you would on a long kickoff. Shotgun formation. It looks to me like Jacob Adams is in there at quarterback. He's got 3 receivers out there, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. He hands off to Shaheem Pennell. Pennell bounces off the first tackler. He's around the corner, across the 50, across the 40. Tried to stay in bounds, but it's chased out there around the 28-yard line. Nice way to open up for the Altavista Colonels. Big yardage, big pickup on first down for number 6, Shaheem Pennell.
Boy, and he's one of the players who has not gotten into the end zone tonight. So,
don't think he doesn't know that. I'm sure that's on his mind, and Shaheem's the kind of guy that probably was standing right beside Coach Sharness the entire halftime saying, hey, Coach, you don't have a touchdown, right? Hey, Coach, get me the ball. Get me the ball. And I'm sure Coach Sharness would like as much as anybody for Shaheem to get that touchdown. He doesn't mind spreading the wealth around. 1st and 10 here after a long running play. Clock turning with 10:48 left to play in the Englishes, your complete home center, third quarter. It's a 55-0 Altavista advantage. Adams is taking his time, calling the snap count. Lets the play clock run down to 4. Turns, hands off. Looks like Jonathan Montague charging ahead across the 25-yard line, down to around the 23-yard line. It was number 2. And it's a 3.5 or 4-yard gain. Adams is looks like he's got the reins of the offense here. He runs up to all the linemen there very quickly to confer with them the play call. Now he looks over to the sideline to get the finishing touches from Coach Sharness. All 11 players from Altavista with their heads turned and bodies turned looking at the near sideline. Now they'll sort of unbreak that modified huddle as the rain continues to fall here at Altavista. Colonel's on top, 55-0. Going to split Aaron close out. Now bring him back inside the line as a blocking back. Here's the shotgun snap. Adams hands off to Pinnell. Pinnell, spin move at the 20. Tackler had him around the legs and would not let him go. Looked like it was number 58, Bradley Giles, maybe on the stop. Looked also like number 13, Joseph Davis, was in the area. And number 2, Hunter Furr, was there. Bring up 3rd and 1 for Altavista, OB.
Boy, Davis has been everywhere tonight for Chatham that he possibly could be.
You like the way the Colonels are taking some time here and letting the play clock run down?
I do.
9:20 left to play in the third quarter. Colonels opening drive of the second half. Couple Altavista linemen taking some time to get set. Shotgun formation again. Jacob Adams in there at quarterback. Play clock gets all the way down to 1, and I don't think they got it off. They took too much time.
No, he had time. Close started leaning, and once he got leaning, he couldn't stop. So he was heading in motion.
Official agreed with you. Called the illegal procedure on the Colonels. It'll back them up just a little bit. Makes it 3rd and 6 now for Altavista. They're on top, 55-0. 8:40 left to play in the third quarter. I'm Kyle. He's Oscar. It's Altavista and Chatham on 105.5 KD Country. Adams extending the snap count. Now he's going to take off and run it himself. Leans forward, breaks through some initial contact, diving towards the 20. Needed to get to the 19-yard line, so he's a full yard short of that. It'll bring up 4th down for Altavista. I would think they go for it here unless you really want to try a long Nick Boley field goal that, considering the weather circumstances, is probably completely out of his range.
And it would be a 40-yarder or close to it, right? 42-yarder,
Yeah.
and the area of the field that he would be kicking from is absolutely torn up.
Yeah, no kidding. If you were playing on artificial turf, maybe. Boley's made a long one this year, but not in a driving rain like this. Adams looks over the defense, checks the offense. It's 4th and a long one for Altavista. They're on top, 55-0. They need to get to the Chatham 19-yard line. Adams going to surge ahead. He's got it. Lowers his shoulder, diving across the 15, now to the 13-yard line. Nice pickup there on 4th down for the Altavista Colonels. They're actually 2 for 2 on 4th downs tonight, Oscar. It'll move the chains.
And, one of the things we talked about the weather at the beginning of the game was the wind's not blowing. Well, guess what?
Yeah, the wind has picked up a bit.
The wind has picked up.
Get an injury timeout. It's a Chatham player not down but on 2 knees. Now he's going to work himself up to his feet. Looks like Sam Faison, whose name we have called a few times. He's a linebacker, sort of holding and favoring the wrist or the arm. Trainer for Altavista, Angela Emerson, is out there to check him out. The clock does stop for the injury timeout. 7:23 left to play in the Englishes, your complete home center, third quarter. Oscar, can we talk about Englishes again?
Yes,
of course we can.
Absolutely.
I want to talk about the Carhartt gear again. I love talking about the Orca coolers and all the other lines they have at Englishes, but the Carhartt gear, when you look out in the elements, you must have protection if you're going to be out there. That Carhartt gear is made in America. It's tough. It's perfect for people that are outdoors and on the go. And I guarantee you they've got something that will keep you dry, even in a driving rainstorm that we are situated in right now.
It's a great value, too, because when you buy Carhartt, you're buying top quality. And that stuff lasts and you can't wear it out. You absolutely cannot wear it out.
If only they made football gear. If only they made broadcasting gear. If we could get some headphones and things made by Carhartt.
When we went up to, where was it? We went to Southwest.
Hayside, Honaker, one of those places?
It was Hayside when we had the snow, and that was cold. We could have used some Carhartt then.
Yeah, you're right. We could have used some Carhartt then on that snowy day down there in Hayside. 1st and 10 for the Colonels. Injury timeout is done. They can get a first down. Stick resting on the Chatham 4-yard line. Clock counting down again now. We've got 7 minutes left to play in this third quarter. Altavista on top 55-0. Handoff to Shaheem Pinelli. He had the football on his hip, not secured, but he was able to bring it in there towards the end of the run. Not much of a gain as he never got the feet under him and sort of slid down with some help from a few Chatham tacklers.
Boy, Rick looked like, excuse me, Rick, I did it again.
Rick might be listening.
Rick
we can send a shout-out to
listening.
Rick Adams.
Yeah, Jake's older brother, Rick, but certainly Jake looked like that wasn't the cleanest exchange, kind of like he looked like sleight of hand almost. But Shaheem did a good ball getting the ball off his hip and not losing it.
Well, let's talk at some point at a little bit more length about this interesting quarterback situation here going on with the Altavista Colonels. 2nd and 9, Colonels football just outside the 10-yard line. Let's say the 11-yard line, just inside the near hash mark. Design running play. Adams is going to call his own number. Tries to outrun the first defender and cannot get to the edge. Pulled down by the jersey, and somewhat of the moisture on the ground helped out as well. That's a loss of 1 or 2. It's going to bring up 3rd and 11. Clock under 6 minutes to go now in the third quarter. Still the Altavista big lead, 55-0.
This is the opening drive of the second half.
It is, and they've ate up quite a bit of clock.
Running clock, doing exactly what it was intended to do.
Right. Just over 6 minutes played here in the third quarter, and you're absolutely right. This is exactly the intention when you got a lopsided game like this. And I don't think this game is an indication of how good Chatham really is. Just wasn't their night here tonight, and the Colonels picked a good night to show off their A game. Adams lifts the leg, calls for the football, busted play, tried to hand it off, but the running back went the wrong direction. He's going to have himself a first down anyway, and now a touchdown. He goes sliding into the end zone. Good block out on the edge by Jonte Gord, and it looked like Nicholas Grieschlaber out there as well blocking for him. That's another Jake Adams touchdown, another Colonel touchdown. They lead 61-0. It's Adams' third of the evening.
And that was a 13-yard scamper. And what happened? Jake turned to his right, and Shaheem had gone to his left side. So that's where the busted play came in. Jake did a nice job of making lemonade out of lemons or something.
Chancellor Mormon on to hold. Nick Boley on to try the extra points. 61-0 lead right now for Altavista. Snap is back. Ball down to the block, and this one's right down. Oh, pardon me, missed it. Optical illusion. I thought he made it, but the referees with the better vantage point. So the lead will get stuck at 61-0. Less than 5 to play here in the third quarter. Chatham football when you return to 105.5 KD Country.
Installing Atrium vinyl replacement windows is like an investment in your home that can begin to pay dividends right away. You can save up to 30% or more on your home's heating and cooling costs. Add to your home's equity and add to its value by upgrading its looks and energy efficiency. Custom crafted Atrium vinyl replacement windows. Invest in your home's future with English's.
English's is your complete home center.
Business 29 Altavista.
Your station for high school sports play-by-play is 105.5 KD Country.
Jacob Adams in the end zone for his third touchdown of the evening. It's a 61-0 Colonels advantage over the Chatham Cavaliers. Running clock has it down to 4:59 in the Englishes, your complete home center. Third quarter, Oscar. Let's talk about this quarterback situation now while we have just a second. Mateo Malbach has had the reins of the quarterback spot all year. You know, last year he auditioned for the quarterback role, and they decided to go with Adams for most of the season. I want to say Adams started 7 or 8 games in the regular season. Malbach took over around there, and Mateo Malbach played very well in the playoff win up at Rappahannock. And it looked like, by all indications, that it was Malbach's quarterback spot for the entire season. Interesting now that we're seeing Jacob Adams in there some. Here comes the kickoff. We'll finish the thought in just a moment. Oh, it was fielded on the 10 and then handed off. Interesting play there for the Cavaliers, and the ball carrier will get strung out and planted around the 25-yard line. That was Caden Lewis that took the handoff think he got it from Taylor Moore, maybe number 7. Sometimes you'll see the old pitch on the kickoff or an all-out throw, but I don't normally see a handoff like that. It was interesting.
No, and going back to the quarterback situation, I don't think there's any quarterback controversy at all. I think Mateo Malbeck's still the starting quarterback for this team. We talked to Coach Sharnas before, and he said that he was going to introduce some plays that Jake could run. Good opportunity to experiment tonight with that, with the big lead early in the first half.
I think you probably nailed it. I think that's all it is. Handoff play here. Parker Martin trying to turn the corner around the right side. Strung out there by some good edge work by the Colonel's defenders and stopped for a loss of 1. Back to the quarterback situation. I think you nailed it. I think the score dictates that, hey, we can try Jake in there a little bit more on some of these plays we have designed for him. Obviously, he knows how to play quarterback. He knows the plays in the playbook. No mistake about that. And I think it's just a nice time to get him some work. And it's a nice change of pace. I mean, I know a lot of coaches aren't fans of changing the quarterback or putting other people in there. However, some people are not married to that idea, and certainly in the Colonel's state championship in 2009, we saw sort of a dual quarterback situation with the aforementioned Ricky Adams and Johnny Wimbush. You know, Rick played more and more as the season went on. Rick was more of the passer, Johnny more of the runner, and obviously it worked with great success there.
And similar situation as they are today. And again, I think that a great opportunity to break Jake in and get him used to getting some balls snapped and really in some tough conditions. And the one thing, you know, the Colonels haven't turned the ball over.
Have not turned it over yet in this ball game. They've had a few balls get free. Malbeck had to pick one up on one bounce, and Pinnell, remember, on that last drive seemingly lost the ball but held on to it. There's a hard hit on the near sideline there. I think it was Jaden Gilbert that hit the ball carrier with some serious force there and dropped him on 3rd down. It's going to bring up 4th and 10. 4th and 10 for the Chatham Cavaliers. Looks like they're going to punt it away with 2:30 left to play in the 3rd quarter.
And a lot of fresh jerseys in for the Altavista Colonels.
Good to see some different faces, and we'll identify as many of them as we can.
Bailey Stennett's in. Jaden Gilbert's in.
Punting formation. This is, again, more of a traditional punting formation for Chatham. They're a little bit lost. They're missing some personnel out there on the punt team. And that happens sometimes in games like these, particularly when you have injuries. Backup situation is not clear. Now 2 more Cavaliers running on. I think they're going to be forced to burn a timeout, or maybe they're just content to take a delay of game penalty.
The referees are just ignoring the 25-second clock expired about 8 seconds ago, and there's a fumble.
Snap got back. Bray Atkins could not hold on to it, and then he does finally get it out of there. Decent Chatham roll. It'll get stopped dead at the Chatham 47-yard line. So it's actually the same place the Colonels started their last drive from. That resulted in a Jacob Adams touchdown. Let's see who's running the quarterback spot now. I think it might be Bailey Stennett going to get back there and take the snaps for Altavista. Clock rolling. 1:13 left to play in the Englishes, your complete home center. 3rd quarter, 61-0, the Altavista lead.
Bailey Stennett is a freshman. It's a good opportunity for him to get some snaps.
If you joined us late, it's 55-0 at halftime. We'll recap all the scoring here whenever we get a chance. Stennett, low crouch, steps into the first snap, handoff play here on 1st down. See who the new ball carrier is. That looks like a fresh jersey. It's number 20 for Altavista. That is Jaquelin Jones.
Another freshman.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, great opportunity, leading 61-0 here with 35 seconds left in the 3rd quarter to get some of these freshmen, sophomores, some real good game experience.
Bring up 2nd and 9 for Altavista. Probably the last play of the 3rd quarter. Play clock shows 16. Game clock at 20. Stennett clearly with his eye on the play clock in the left side of the far end zone. Colonel's working left to right in this 3rd quarter. Now he's got the offense ready to go. Calls out the snap, chest high, handoff again to Jones. Jones is met in the backfield and dropped at the original line of scrimmage. That's a loss of 1, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter. We'll step aside. Got 12 more minutes of football when you come back. The Altavista Colonels on top, 61-0 over the Chatham Cavaliers on 105.5 KD Country.
Napa know-how.
If it seems like the last time you changed your antifreeze was when cassette tapes were all the rage, it's time to pick up a gallon of Prestone antifreeze at Napa for only $12.99. Unlike cassettes, paying $12.99 for a gallon of Prestone antifreeze never gets old. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 11/13/16.
Brought to you by Napa of Altavista on Main Street in Altavista.
More live high school sports action on 105.5 KD Country.
61-0, the Colonel's advantage right now. We're getting ready to start the Englishes, your complete home center. Fourth quarter. I'm Kyle Haney. He's Oscar Briggs. Hope you're having a nice Friday night. Hope you're staying dry. If you did get a little wet, that's okay too. You'll dry out. How do you think the field has held up tonight, Oscar? We've seen a lot of guys slip down, but it's not as muddy as I thought it would be. Honestly.
No, certainly the right side of the field is worse than the left. That's just because of that second quarter. That's the side of the field the Colonels were trying to score on and just dominated that second quarter.
4 baseball games on today. You know I'm a big baseball fan. Third and a long 9 coming up for Altavista. Bailey Stinnett running the quarterback spot right now for the home team, the Colonels. Switch sides of the field. They're going right to left. They need to get down to the Chatham 36-yard line. Toss play going outside. Looks like it's Jones again. Jones is met by a stingy Cavalier defense and dropped in the backfield just about 3 yards inside of the right sideline. Wonder if the Colonels will punt here. It would be the first punt we've seen all game. Didn't see any punts last week against Nelson either.
No, and it looks like they're calling a play.
I think they're going to go for it. I'm fine with it. I don't think it's rubbing it in Chatham's face at all. It's 11-10 left to go in the fourth quarter. Colonel's offense is still taking a lot of time. I think they are going to go for it. Play clock still showing 15 seconds left, so they've got some time to work with here. They lead 61-0. It'll be 4th and 11. They're going to snap this ball from the Chatham 48-yard line. They need to get
hurry
down to the Cavaliers 36. They do need to hurry now. Play clock down to 2. Maybe the officials will let them slide. They do. Snap is a little high. Stinnett has to pick it up. Now he lost it. Cavalier football on the Altavista 40. Stinnett didn't have much he could do here. And it's going to be a Chatham. It's Chatham ball anyway. It's just a question of if they give him credit for the fumble, and I think they do. They're going to start on the 40-yard line. By far the best field position of the night for Chatham.
And no sooner did we say that the Colonels have not turned the ball over. Although it was 4th down, it was still a fumble.
Yeah, technically, statistically, it does go as a fumble. Statistically, I would argue that the shutout might be in jeopardy here. We talked about Colonels hadn't punted in over a game and a half. They also haven't given up points in that long. It was a shutout against Nelson last week.
The first thing the Colonels have got to do is figure out which side of the field they're on.
Yeah, everybody does. We had multiple players from both teams going to the wrong side of the ball. Chatham is working left to right. If only they could hear our broadcast, that would help.
It may not. It may confuse them even more.
North to south by geography. You're right, though. Spread formation for the Cavaliers. They're short a couple players looking at the sideline asking, where's so-and-so? Now the personnel set for both ball clubs. Altavista linebacker showing blitz. Now they back off. Running play here on first down for the Cavaliers. Stuffed up in the backfield there. Good work by the Altavista defensive line.
Ball came loose. And number 19 for Chatham, who is Ty Wingfield.
Ty Wingfield.
Sophomore. Well, that's a great football name.
It is a good football name. He's a good baseball player, too, along with those guys like Colby Purrier. Ty Wingfield on the fumble recovery. 9:42 left to play in the fourth quarter. Altavista on top, 61-0. Chatham football with their best field position of the night. Colonel's looking to hold on to a shutout that has lasted 7 quarters and some change so far, dating back to that Nelson County game a week ago. Long snap count here for the Cavaliers. Ball now finally does come out and get snapped. It's an inside reverse play. This is Parker Martin. Martin turning it up, still on his feet, missing a couple tacklers, and Colonel's really having a hard time finding him and bringing him down. Now he's sort of shoved out of bounds on the far sideline.